Sadguru Name, Jagadguru Name, Sadguru Name, Siri Guru Name, Adguru Name, Jagadguru Name, Sadguru Name, Siri Guru
Name,
Adguru Name,
Jagadguru Name,
Sadguru Name, Siri Guru
Name. Long deep breath. And continue. Good. Thank you. You know, when I was Catholic in school, I remember about the short prayer, and I can't remember that. It was about now in the end now, and God is about future and past and now as God. And I went, okay, sounds like 5D to me. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We are in 5D, is actually moving to the fifth dimension towards God. Amazing. Here we are. Okay, so Japa Saraswati, can you see our message?
Yes, yes. Whoops, I'm sharing the screen. All right, can we see this?
Yes.
All right. Learning now. Tune in. Message from Siri Gian. Japa Saraswati reads until the video. Dear Lightworkers, we are progressing with important stages in our evolutions for ourselves and for our dear Mother Earth. Luckily, Pleiadians and Arctiuians and more are able to give us the update with ET prediction news. Evidently, our lovely channelers say that our ETs want humans to just need what we can without getting stuck without third dimension. Instead, stay with flowing and no worries, and stay with heart breath and being in true presence. While I was writing this document, I heard a terrible noise, like the whole kitchen was crashing apart. When I looked, I did not find the apparent source. Instead, I immediately decided that ET was giving me a real jolt to get a quick class test. So I immediately moved from big breath to heart breath, and I quickly smoothed out my nervous, jumping heart. In fact, several ET prediction news told us for a few of our newscasters or channelers said that Mother Earth will be shaking. Maybe that simple exercise was for me to learn my quick reflexes while letting go. Keep tuned in. Keep in tuned. Keep tuned in. Okay, so here's a link for the video that we're going to
Okay,
watch.
wait, just 1 minute. Did you all understand what was being said?
I like it.
Okay, so you know what's going about, and stuff is happening. Okay, I'll give Japa Saraswati.
Yes, so here's a link, and I'm going to send this message to everybody on text in a minute. And so then you'll have the link to watch it independently. We'll start at 30 minutes. It goes to 1 hour, 10 minutes. So after that video, Aagia Pal will lead us for 1 minute of heart pumping, which is heart breath with breath of fire. Then the 2 parts for this meditation for Dynamite Diamond. 1.5 minutes begin with heart breath. Listen from your voice to decide who or what will move toward your Healy meditation. Then 3 minutes to continue heart breath, feel very strong third eye energies to feel focus and see your light beam to your Healy. Siri Gian leads the meditation. Continue with CNR, consciousness, no reality. So we'll spend 5 minutes in CNR, which is strong heart breath, belly breath, nose inhalation 6 seconds, nose exhale 6 seconds from out of your heart center. Slide from fear. Let go of any of your nasty, difficult old stuff. No reality, no thinking, no everyday self. Only feel. Just be light. Then we will spend 2 minutes to become awareness and understand what happened from EDS. It's your notes, listen and share. Yes?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. So now, will you give us this video?
Yes. I'm working on it.
Okay.
Let's do heart breath for a minute while I have a tech moment.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. And I feel it's a very important topic.
Do you guys hear that echo?
Yes. Yeah.
I have to fix it.
Okay.
For discussion. And one of the things that my team's made very clear to me over the time is that one of the, and this will come into your question, one of the most fundamental things that humanity is facing because of the experience of the lack of, or the apparency of lack of connection to source intelligence, your multidimensional higher self or source expressions through your multidimensional self. There has been this overlay or cloud of lack of self-worth and lack of
Japa Saraswati.
And so people have pinned things over that to
I
make
can't
themselves
hear.
feel better. Like,
I can't
oh,
either.
I'm this and I'm that, or oh yes, no.
You couldn't hear that?
That's right.
You may
Oh.
need the volume on the phone.
Yeah, it's too low.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we turn the volume up ourselves on the phone,
It
that's
doesn't even compensate.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. I'm going to bring it back and then I have to disconnect one of my audios. So I'm going to disconnect the audio on this, and I can't talk to you during the oh, if I use my earbuds, I can.
Okay.
Which did it connect to? Okay, let's try it.
The apparency of lack of connection to source intelligence, your multidimensional your multidimensional higher self,
Still not good.
source expressions through your multidimensional self.
Garbled.
All right, would you guys please do heart breath for a minute, and I'm gonna figure this out
Okay.
because I don't think I'm connected to the audio on this, so I have to connect the audio on this.
Okay.
You can do it, G.
Thank you.
Thank you. How about heart breath for Mother Earth? Thank you.
There has been this overlay or cloud of lack of self-worth and lack of self-accepting that has taken place. And so people have pinned things over that to make themselves feel better, like, oh, I'm this and I'm that, or, oh, yes, no, you're not as good as me, or, just add little things or patchwork to make themselves or give themselves a sense of value. It's artificial and it's superficial, but it's not genuine. And that all involves all these myriad things that people tend to do throughout their lives. In my younger years, I've had experience of this as well. And what became apparent to me is it all started to shed off, and, going through some very interesting experiences, was that what replaces it is this genuine sense of innate self-value and self-observation, and being able to observe as a neutral, peaceful observer. When you do that, all of the need to compare up, to compare down, or to, all that just starts to fall away, because these are all artificial blobs of energy structures, if you like, which we've pulled to ourselves or created as a temporary patchwork to try and give ourselves a feeling of value or worth or whatever it is, because we didn't feel it inside because the connection was so diminished. And so as that changes and as it all comes off, and this is part of what is actually shedding from people when people talk about going through their ascension processes and the ascension symptoms they're going through, all that falsity and artificiality is coming off. And it's being replaced by this emanation that's coming up behind it, where they start to feel, oh, actually, I have this innate self-value. I'm actually just delighted and excited today. It's not for anything. There's nothing that I need to justify. It's simply there, and it will get more there and more there as you progress on this. And I think it relates to what you were saying about the question there, because I've noticed in my own life very much, the more I've connected with my high self and, just allow that energy to immerse and, just shed off those veneers, those artificialities, that behind it, there's a very peaceful, very still, just very excited observation. Like it's the peaceful observer, I guess you could say, is one phrase of talking about it. You begin to see things in a very different light. You're not looking through the filters of those old artificial layers of comparison. Oh, he's got, she's got, I don't have, or I've got and they don't have. All those things fall away, and it's now a delight. It's like this excited inner child energy comes to the forefront, and now you're just this beautiful, curious, powerful being that's just excited and enthralled about every little thing. It's such a transformation to go from where we have been in a very sort of superficial, sort of personality, identity-based, way of being, to being in the core, very powerful, heart-centered intelligence, where you are the peaceful observer. You are literally living in the energy of enthrallment, excitement, delight, and wonder all the time. And you don't need to attain it. It's already part of the very nature of who you are, but it's just more coming to the forefront now. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I just find it, well, I like that it seemed to be that way, because I remember I used to struggle with the idea that maybe I'm not special, like maybe the universe or God don't see me. I'm just part of like so many people. Like I remember this was when I was very young, before my spiritual journey, but I was in China, and I was just so overwhelmed by all the people. We don't have that many people in Norway, and in China there were people everywhere, and I just felt like an ant, I'm not anything special. I'm just another human being. And then many years later, and of course today I look at everybody as special, but years later I had an out-of-body experience where I got, it's a long story, but I got an answer to something I've been wondering about like years before. It was a message to me, a unique message to me. And I realized that, oh my gosh, the universe knew that I was asking that questions years ago, and now it's answering. And it was an answer about that question. It's a long story, but to make it very short, I received a message that every prayer is heard. Because I was thinking that since there's so many people here on the planet, when disasters happen and stuff like that, my prayers are not significant. Like God won't hear my prayer because I'm not significant. I'm just another human being. But then I got that answer many years ago in an out-of-body experience that no, the universe listens to every single prayer. And in near-death experiences that I hear on this show, it seems like every near-death experience also is tailored to that person. Like everyone is experiencing so unique things.
Yes.
And I also believe that signs in nature are really, like symbolic signs, are really tailored to us. And I think that is really beautiful.
Yeah, I believe so. And to just add to the quality of what you're saying is that, from my experience and what the teams have told me, is that these artificial veneers that we've been so used to living in and seeing through, these filters, if you like, if one way of saying it, is that we've been conditioned to live our entire lives through them and interact through them. And almost every social interaction is this sort of weird interplay of these belief systems of lack, or am I important? Or I need to elevate myself to feel important because being next to this person, I suddenly feel like I'm less than. There's a whole slew of different conditions that are there. And when you begin to soften to the core of you and you relax and those veneers start to fall away, the only way I can describe it is there is a knowingness that comes forward, a peacefulness, that you are that there is actually the thought of am I special or am I anything simply drops away in itself, because the very nature of our existence, the very nature of our being, is this infinite delight, infinite wonder, infinite excitement. And it's almost strange because the veneer of those falsities of lack and, self-worth and everything, they create this condition, I must attain worth, I must attain this, and I must garner it, or do this in order to be special, or do that in order to be thought of as. All that falls away as well. It gives way to the true innateness of your natural being, which has no justification. All the delight, all the wonder, all the beauty that's in just comes forward, and it just suddenly appears. And they're reminding me, they're saying this is part of the transformation of what's happening in this next 2 months coming forward, is that more of that is going to come forward and replace and push away the false veneers that we've been used to. And they're saying one of the key conditions that tends to happen with humanity is we tend to hold on to those things because they are familiarities, even if they're not working for us and they're uncomfortable. Sometimes, what's that phrase, better the familiar that rather than, something new that you don't. And they're saying that's one of the things that causes people to have these sort of sensations of struggle or ascension symptoms, because when something is being removed out from you, people go, oh no, I need that. That's part of my thing. That's what I am, it's what I do, And they're saying the more you can be fluid and allowing and just enjoy the delightful moving down the river. Yes, logs are going to break away. Rocks are going to be moved out of your way. Things have to be moved for the river to flow more. And this is all part of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a question I've heard before from my audience, and I've had it myself, and I think it is a fear. Will I lose myself? I think that's what you're speaking about, like letting go of a lot. So am I letting go of my personality? And I don't want to disappear. I still want to be Jannica.
Right.
So, that ego, and on an intellectual level, I know we're all one, but still I'm a bit resistant to moving into that because, I still would like to just feel my own personality or whatever. Yeah. So could you speak to that part of the ego that still wants to be separate?
Yes, I would love to. And my teams are like cutting edge. Was sort of rushing in there. They would say they'd love to talk about this, and my higher self is coming more to the forefront now as well. So what they're saying is that part of what you have known yourself to be is a multi-layered veneer or a layering of different experiences or identities we have brought together as a collection. And so for a long time, they're saying over reincarnations, we have gotten used to this idea that this framework or collection of nested identities and the energies that go with it are who we are. They're saying, but here's the beautiful thing. What's taking place is that which is not you is leaving, and the real you, which is the real presence, that now they're saying, here's something they want to mention. They're saying what humanity has learned to think is they are what they hold themselves to be. They're saying that is false. What you hold yourself to be in one form or another, whether it's identities, the identity of the job you have, the thing you do right now, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. They're saying all of that is leaving you. It's moving away, because the real you that sits in a human suit is now coming forward to present itself. And they're saying that requires no holding on. And they've said this before, and they're saying it again. They're saying that which you can hold on to, no matter what it is, whether it's an identity, an external circumstance, a social network, or whatever it is, they're saying anything you can hold on to is not the real you. You cannot let go of the real you. And they're saying, they've used this analogy before, and they said it to me. I was sitting down one time. They came forward and said, we would like to show you something. So go into meditation. And they said, imagine yourself on an island. So I'm sitting there and there's an ocean all around you. You're sitting on this sand island. It feels solid. It feels familiar. This is comfortable. You like being here, right? They say, now we're going to ask you to get into the water and go right out to the horizon where you can no longer see the island anymore. And so, okay, so in meditation, I'm moving out to the water. I'm going out. And they said, right, now look back. Can you see the island? No. Oh my God. And then suddenly they were saying, now, how do you feel? Do you feel the sensation of, oh my God, it feels like the foundation of where I was happy, comfortable, familiar with, has just been flopped out from underneath my feet. Oh my God, there's just unending ocean beneath me. There's unending ocean around me. What am I doing? They said, just calm, just settle yourself down. Now, feel yourself for a moment, now submerging into the ocean. And it really felt, okay, I can feel the peace coming in. And now I'm underneath the ocean. They said, now you realize you were always the ocean. You were never the island. It was a comfort zone you were holding yourself to be and preventing yourself from moving into the truth of who you really were. And they're saying that the ocean of you is so unimaginably vast. There are no words to describe it, even though we can try to more or less point in that direction. They're saying that is where humanity is returning to. You're coming off of the comfort zone island and you're merging back into the real you. And they're saying that is going to be such a delight. And they're really laughing. They're saying you'll get to a point, there'll be a threshold where that melting into the real you, that coming forward of the real you, will be so prevalent, so there, you'll look back and realize, oh my goodness, what on earth was I doing sitting on the island for so long, trying to keep it right where it was and keep it going? They'll say you will literally laugh in delight and fun at the whole situation you have come from and where you are going to as well. They're saying, do not be in fear, because that which is false, that which is not really of you, even though they're saying to many humans, they really hold on to it thinking, no, this is my life jacket. This is me. I cannot be free of this. I cannot let go. They're saying eventually it will fall away despite the grip, but what's going to take its place is something that is so profound and so indescribable that when you get there, you will understand exactly what they're saying. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, in a way, and in another way, I can't imagine how it's going to be, because I haven't experienced that as Janneke, but perhaps as a soul and my higher self knows it. But to me here and now, my mind obviously cannot understand it, but
Yes.
perhaps my heart. But is it about surrendering? Is that the part that we need sort of to do? And that is an interesting question also, because how do you surrender? So is there any doingness from our part in this process? Should we do anything?
Okay, so my teams, my higher self, would you like to offer any understanding on that question? So they're saying, imagine again the analogy they just used with the ocean. Surrendering itself, they're saying there's somewhat misunderstanding in human conception about what surrendering is. It's more you are relaxing back into. That's a better way of saying it. So they're saying that the human condition so far is when you go to sleep, you relax. There's a significant degree of letting go there, a release of the grip. And they're saying it's what you will learn is the nature of how every day when you wake up, you re-grip on, you re-get the collection of identities and everything back. You get dressed and you go about your day in this highly contracted sort of gripped state where you think, yes, this is who I am. I've got my collection. I'm happy. Got my identities. I'm just going to go through the day like this again. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to relax. All that's just going to let go. And I'm going to return closer to who I truly am during the sleep state. And so we do this cycling every time. So most of the work that gets done on you when you're most receptive is during the nighttime, when you let go of this grip. And most of the time people are walking through their lives, they don't realize that the amount of energy they are devoting to grip and holding on, it's immense. And my team said that to me one time. They said, if you could only realize how much energy that you were expending on gripping onto the things that are not real and are not you, everything is going to be seeming to be so different than what it has been. And so they're saying this is the delightful transformation that people are going through. And it's going to be a unique passage for each individual, depending on what they're holding on to, the level they're holding on to it, and so on and so forth. And they're saying, coming back to your question about the nature of surrender, they're saying it's that in of itself is going to become a new paradigm of perspective as we move forward as humanity. Because they're saying a lot of connotations about surrender is giving up or giving over to, and they're saying what you're actually doing is, you are returning to your true self. You're not just letting go of just drifting like a feather, just being buffeted this way and that way. They're saying that's not how it works. And they said recently when I was speaking to Pam the other day, they were saying that what will happen when you learn to really surrender or let go to yourself, your true self, merge back into your true self, is that, that analogy they use with the egg opening up. You're going to break out of the looping because that whole grip is what actually keeps the loop stuck and the egg closed. It's the self-grip. We actually force ourselves to keep living through these loops by the grip, the control, the holding on to identity, all the other things. We are actually making ourselves loop. And they're saying that is a big, big key for all of humanity. They're saying, there's a lots of things saying about this group doing things to you, that group thing. No one can actually do anything to you. All they can do is convince you to maintain the grip and stay in the looping system. Okay. And so when you realize that, and you realize, oh, if I let go, look, it's opening up now. The looping's stopping. Now you're free flying. You're on this powerful, expansive trajectory of possibilities that never existed before, because the door is now open. You're not looping anymore. You're shooting in pure creativity now. It's very, very different. And so they're saying that this is part of what's going on for people. Layer by layer, things we hold on to, from identities to all sorts of things, are being just pulled away. It's like they're asking your teams are coming in, your higher self's coming in. I'm just going to take that box of identities off your hands right now. You don't need that. And then the human goes, no, I need that. Don't take that away. It's like when you get up in the morning and you feel like, no, the collection has to come back. I need the collection, And they say, well, if you just let us take that off you, and just see what comes out in its place, you'll be very delighted. And so there can be this push-pull that goes on for many days until you finally, okay, just take the box. You just let it go. And the Arctiuians talked about this before, and many times they said that sometimes when you find yourself absolutely at your wit's end and you throw your arms up and you think, really, that's it, I've had enough, They're saying that at that point, you have sufficiently let go of your grip on what you think you need and what you think is you. Finally, it can come away from you. Then you get back, oh, wow, oh my God, I'm actually, next day you feel much better. Now you have let the box go, the tug of war that you're pulling back and the energy is trying to release it has now stopped. And now something has taken its place, which brings you that much higher and that much closer to immersing in your true self. So that is like the paradigm that gets played out almost every day in, especially people who are on the ascension path, of what's happening to them. So I do hope that helps make a little bit more clearer, lots of little things, that the lumps, the walls, the big things that people fly into, and oh my God, everything feels like it's falling to pieces. The teams were describing it really is just this process of all these boxes being taken off your hands that you don't need. It's the clutter that isn't you, that you think is you and identifies you, but it isn't. And it's learning to be at peace with the return to your true self. You don't hold yourself. And they've said before that whatever it is that you can hold on to is not you. Once you have fully let go, you have now returned to the real you, the peaceful observer, the infinite creator.
Wow. And then I get curious, David, do you feel that you're coming closer to the real you? Do you feel that this has happened to you?
Yes, very much so. And I say to people, if you want to see what I was like before I really started this journey, I have a video of myself in a documentary I took part of when I was really head-centric. I was, really wired mentally, my sort of physics and mathematics mode. And if you see me then, I put it up on the Patreon site under interviews and talks. You'll laugh. You'll have such a giggle. Because I really do understand and feel what they have been telling me a long time. I didn't get it in the beginning. It felt like, okay, I'm not feeling what you're saying right now. It doesn't feel that it's there. I hear you saying it, and I'm sure it will happen. But after going through these big sort of metamorphosis states that I've gone through, of them pulling the boxes off, releasing the collection of things that are not me, there is a delightful peace that has really come up beneath that. And I really understand what they're saying. And there's so much more to come, and that's the beauty of it. That's the delight, because I really feel and understand what they mean by the innate wisdom inside you, the innate value. It's not something you attain. You just feel delightful. You feel as if you are, this infinite spark of the creator having this unending, fantastic life. Yes, things come up and go, but when you feel that, and they said there is a threshold that humanity will reach where that emanation is so strong that even when the deepest stuff comes up, you'll laugh. You'll just, oh, cool, another thing's coming off. That's great. It's not going to bowl you over and you go spiraling down into this trench and feel awful for like days or weeks or months. It won't happen anymore. That emanation will be so strong, and the sensation and feeling of being an unending infinite creator in pure delight will be too strong for that to do that anymore. And that's when the avalanche really starts to happen for you. So that's what they're saying is happening. And they're saying this event that's coming in the next 2 months for many people is going to be a big shift forward in that, for sure.
Wow. I love the word delight.
Yes, I know.
I get so delighted hearing that.
Yeah.
I want to feel delight. I love that.
Yeah.
Wow. Gosh, do you have some tip for everyone who's like, okay, I really want to connect to my higher self? You've been speaking about the higher self, and often we can tend to have, a religious belief way back there in our subconsciousness, perhaps, that, I need to pray to receive this or that, and something external. But you're speaking about this internal higher self that's there, know everything about you. How can we have this really intimate relationship with our higher self, if you can guide us?
Yeah, well, the teams and my higher self are saying that they always delightfully smile. They're so cool. They're saying you already have it there, but what gets in the way is the holding on to everything that is not you. And so that is part of the knowledge. They're saying that's just part of the understanding to remind yourself, if you feel like it's a struggle, or if you feel like it's, I'm trying to get there and make the connection, but it's just not happening so much. They're saying just remind yourself that just is a signature of the boxes that haven't come off you yet that are actually getting in the way. It's like it being if you're sitting, the sun's coming through, it's radiant, it's so beautiful, and then somebody puts a tent up around you. Oh God, it's all gone really dark. What's happening? Oh, there's a pinprick of a hole there. Yeah, I can just about get a little bit of light through there. It's like, and they're saying, imagine the tent is the covering of all the dross of the boxes, the identities, everything you hold of yourself that is not the real you. That basically forms a sort of veil. And they're saying that's the veil that many people have spoken about. You're actually holding it, or we're holding it in place ourselves. Key piece of information to understand, because then you understand you can let it go. And they're saying part of the issue is it's people's fear to let go of that which they're familiar with, which scares them so much that keeps them holding on to it. So that's one piece of information to remind yourself, they're saying. The next step is to they're saying, like the analogy of the ocean, if you want to sit in meditation, go out into the ocean and feel yourself literally melting into the infinite ocean that you are. Feel what comes up, what fears come up, what reactions come up, what resistance comes up. They're saying that's part of what will help show you the energies that you can let go of and release, and you can offer to your higher self. And there's another thing. They're saying, always remember, lots of people think they've got to go through an assault course by themselves, and they've got to attain this connection, and they've got to get it at the end. They're saying those are old human traits and old human perspectives which cause people to think like that. But they're saying the truth is much simpler. You have so much help from your higher self ready to go whenever you ask for it. So they're saying, be aware of asking your higher self to help you. It can't override your free will, and it will hold back, and it will really be kind of wanting to help you, but it won't until you request. Okay. So some things it can step in on, which are things that you pre-agreed to before you came into this existence, that it can help because you've already agreed to that happening before you came into this existence. They're saying it's all part of the learning to re-bridge the relationship with your true self, your higher self. It's just the self that you are, which operates in multidimensional levels going all the way back to source intelligence. That is just your higher self, or whatever you want to call it. And they're saying another technique which they do in the meditations that they bring through on the platform that I run is rhythmic breathing. And rhythmic breathing is very simple. They say it's the pace of breathing that is as fast or as slow or as deep or as shallow that brings you to the sweet spot of the most relaxation and the most joy. It's the highest receptivity point, if you like. that's when you really start to feel the higher self emanation. And they're saying the in-breath is like an infusion. So on each in-breath, you can ask your higher self to infuse you with the presence and essence of your higher self into every cell, into your mind, your body, your emotions, all fields and layers of yourself. And just practicing that for 5 minutes a day or before you go to bed will ramp up your connection with your higher self very fast. We've had so many comments from people, on the site, just by doing that rhythmic breathing, connecting with your 5th dimensional higher self, your 6th, your 7th, your 8th, and working your way up. And you can go and you can ask your higher self to give you a sensation. Do I go higher? Do I stay where I am? And you'll get the sensation of a yes or a no. And by doing that, you are not only infusing yourself with your higher self, but all the layers that are preventing that from happening are going to start dissolving away and leaving you. And your relationship will get stronger. It will get clearer. The peace will start coming forward, and then it will become automatic. So that eventually when you start breathing, every in-breath is this synergized infusion of your higher self coming in and then infusing and being the expression in your human suit. So they're saying that is a very, very powerful way, a very simple way that you can use anywhere. You can be at a supermarket and want to do it. You can be on a beach or in a forest and do it. It's all yours. It's internal, and it's for you to use when you want to. So they're saying that is one way that they offer to do this.
Well, thank you so much. That was really helpful. And this conversation has been so intriguing, so fascinating. Thank you so much.
For
We
sure.
could go on and on. However, this will wrap up for now. And I have some personal questions for you, or one personal question. So, David, what is self-love to you?
Yeah, I know you asked me this last time, and I believe it's so... I guess I could expand on my answer before as well, because to me, the more that I infuse into my higher self, self-love in itself is innate, because what has been told to me by my teams and my higher self many times, and what I've experienced for myself, is that we are literally the intelligence of love. We have this thing we call love, but it's just a word. But what does the word point to? What is it actually? And to me, the intelligence of the creator is love, what we call love. And so self-love really is the great simplicity of allowing the real you to come forward, in one way of speaking it, to add to what I previously said about this. And it absolutely is innate. You don't need to attain it. You don't need to effort to keep it going. Like, oh no, I must practice this every day. I must be self-loving. I must do this. All those to me now I very much see as veneers that are actually coming off. And what replaces it is a natural, innate state of being in source intelligence, your high self intelligence, which is itself love intelligence. And that is the state of self-love. You've returned to that. You are in it. You are it. And all the veneers have come off. Now you are in a state of love intelligence. So that, I would say, is another way of seeing it, for sure.
I just feel that speaking with you, I lose part of my identity. Like, I'm totally into this other dimension or realm, or where just this moment exists. It's really fascinating, and it feels really good. I forget that I'm
Yes.
Janica. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's totally I had the same thing, because what happened for me is, for a long time, I came kicking and screaming. I kind of had the whole resistance thing going on because of my days of being, a physicist and a mathematician. Everything was mental. And what I find is that you realize the more you dip into the ocean of you, the more you realize, my goodness, I'm actually the most safest, the most active, the most adventurous, the most delightful when I'm in that surrendered state that I ever was when I was in the grip state. Suddenly you realize it's okay to let go of the identities now. They were never really me to begin with. The real me is something quite extraordinary, and it's coming forward. So we're kind of in that strange paradigm of changeover right now. And it feels like, and a lot of people have spoken about this, about feeling lost, or they don't know who they are anymore, where they're going, because you're going from a state of feeling so sure, so gripped, so yes, this is who I am. I go out and this is me, and I'm going to challenge anyone who challenges that, or something to that effect. That's an extreme example. But now we're moving in the halfway point over to this full immersion into the real us, and that aspect of what we thought we were holding on to is dissolving away. And the parts of us that really were adamant about being comfortable, and that's the real me, are having to just relax and trust and let go. Because to me, trust is another word for returning to you. It's not about just saying, oh, I hope, I'm going to just listen to what they say, I'm trusting, that's not, I don't believe that. From my perspective anyway, I would say that trust is more about you're really just letting go to the real you. You're not giving up to anything. You're letting go and returning to who you are. That's the way I would describe trust.
Beautiful. And David, what the biggest one of all, what is the deepest meaning of life from your perspective?
The deepest meaning of life. It's interesting. Had you asked me that question many months ago, the answer might have been a little bit different. But because of these massive transformations I've been going through recently, and just how much emanation has come from behind that purging and pushing off, to me, it's hard to describe. I'll do my best to describe it, but it's the emanation that now comes through this delightful, expansive, infinite, again, I'm just trying to use words to give an impression. The depth, it's almost like the depth and quality of being has just shot up significantly, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until you realize there is no bottom to the depth anymore. It's very hard to describe, but it's as if the truth to this idea of the innateness of the delight, the adventure, the unending depth, the unending beauty of who you are. I mean, these all sound like wonderful words, but when you actually feel that emanation come through, you feel that delight of it. And you realize there is no bottom to the depth of who you are. There's no height, there's no upper limit, there's no side limits. Even the idea of a universe becomes somewhat restrictive because it feels like there's a boundary there. Again, it's hard to describe, but there's a feeling of such innate unendingness and infiniteness. And, the words don't really do it justice, but the feeling has come forward on that so much just by going through these metamorphoses that, I would say that's it. And I hope I've done the best to try and describe what it is, because it's,
Well, I'm following you. I get a sense of it, and I think it's just beautiful news, and I just get so excited about it all, and that's what keeps happening in these episodes, that I'm like mind blown of our universe. It's just so magical, and I'm so excited about that. I'm so happy about that, and back to that. It's an interesting time to be alive. I really feel that gosh, we are beautiful creative beings with so much power and potential inside of us, and I was delighted to have this conversation with you today.
Likewise.
And for everyone who is curious and want to learn more, David, where can they go? Can you guide them to where they can go?
We have a couple of two websites and one platform. So IC-Infinity.com is where we have devices that the teams have helped us create for introducing high energetics and harmonizing the environment that you can get. There's a massive waiting list on those at the moment because we can't build them fast enough for the people that want them, but you can put yourself on the waiting list there. The other site that we have is the Patreon platform, where the meditations and live streams that the teams offer. And these are a series of very powerful deep activations that are designed to shift people forward into the deeper aspect of themselves and to release the veneers of what's going on. And there's a whole bunch of tools that they've offered to help accelerate the clearing and the moving out of the old, which are there as well. So that's on Infinite Source Patreon. It's a Patreon site, and it's Infinite Source Creations. We also have a main website, which is infinitesourcecreations.com, where you can see both the links to that site and other things that we do within that kind of, realm of everything to do with the teams as well. So yeah, those are our main places. So you can reach out to us there. We have so many emails coming through, so it may take a little bit of time for us to get back to you, but you can reach out to us in those. Yeah.
Thank you so much, David, for coming back on the show.
Okay, Satnam. And I just want to suggest that you maybe understand something. You can hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, beautifully.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So, for instance, he was talking about those boxes. Do you understand what he was saying? Actually, one of those boxes might be news. How about that? What do you think of that? Okay.
Definitely true and scary.
Yes. But
Oof.
but did you see what he was talking about? He said, did I keep that getting bigger or something else? What did he say? Do you remember that? Letting go. Yep. And as we know, that has to do about ego. I am.
And a trance that what I was
Exactly.
Saraswati. Yeah, that wow, it was kind of a shocking revelation that the news is designed to put me in a trance, put us in a trance,
That's right. It's
and
exactly
remove us from reality, of
right.
spiritual truth.
Exactly.
Painful.
Because we had know about enlightenment. What is that? It was letting go of ego. That's it. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
And we're having how to let go of those boxes, those trances within us, and our ET and the Aquarian shift is helping us. Isn't that amazing?
Beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. So Aagia Pal.
All
Okay.
right. So let's continue with 1 minute of heart pumping. And that again is heart breath, breath of fire. And you might want to just take what David mentioned and in your breathing, your rhythmic breathing, breathe in an infusion of your higher self and source intelligence.
What is that? Could it be like heart breath?
Definitely. And then when we breathe in, we're infusing ourselves with this higher self, as he mentioned, this love intelligence. So let's do this for 1 minute.
Okay, excuse me. Can Japa Saraswati, can you change that for the writing to be able to see to write what
What-
Aagia Pal is doing?
To show it? Sure.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so let's begin.
Okay.
1 minute. And inhale and exhale. And let's begin Dynamite Diamond with 1.5 minutes of heart breath and listening from your voice, your higher self, to decide who or what will move you, who or what will be your Healy. Maybe a younger version with more boxes, maybe someone else. So take this 1.5 minutes just to decide where you're drawn most for your Healy. And please begin. And continue, please, with your heart breath. Feel your very strong third eye energies. Feel, focus, see, direct your light beam, your laser light beam to your Healy for 3 minutes. Beautiful. And please inhale and exhale. And we'll be moving now with Siri Gian into CNR.
Bless you. And now continue with CNR, consciousness, no reality. 5 minutes. And begin. And breathe. Inhale. Exhale. And breathe. And now, listen. Two minutes. And now, Aagia Pal, are you ready?
Um, um, well, I can share
You
that.
want
What?
do you want to a few minutes more? Or
No, it's spilling out of me now.
okay,
Maybe others want some time though.
okay. Anybody? Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so where, what I've been asking myself, I am definitely going through something, a very challenging time of, I guess as David says, is transformation and metamorphosis, and I am kicking and screaming, and what he's I'm, yes, I'm kicking and screaming. It's like, is there going to be a me left over after all these boxes that I don't even know I am carrying? And I don't even know they're on my back, in back of me. I don't see them. So is there going to be anything left of me? And then the question of, who am I? And if I don't have these boxes, what do I have to offer people? So these are all of the questions. Will there be a me anymore? And um, you know, so so I'm working. So what I hear from um soul, my higher source, is that, remember, soul is there all the time. I just have to ask and give permission. And honestly, to be honest, I'm also working on trusting soul. Um, and because what's so deeply ingrained in me is, um, you know, not decrying uncertainty. Uncertainty equals stupidity. Uncertainty equals, you know, is dangerous. You want to get away from it. So I guess I have recently been living in, um, more and living in a sea, as David said, but it's a sea of fear. It's a sea of, I can't see anything. It's very polluted, kind of. And what I'm asking soul for, my higher self, is to help me see through that to the delight that's beyond it. And when I just got back from, you know, the Cape, and I was walking along walking along the beach and with my dogs, and then along the the streets there, and people would come up to me and they'd be smiling and they would say, "Oh, how beautiful. Your dogs are so beautiful." And then I got this little pinprick from Soul, send it back to them. So then what I did was, every time somebody said, "Oh, your dogs are so beautiful, I love," and I said to the person saying that, "Well, they're saying the same about you." And the people kind of looked at me and then they smiled. And I was like, totally, like, this was, thank you to Soul. Thank you, because I could bring some delight, or return their delight back to them. And I'm not usually a one to, like, say hello, and I'm getting better at that, reaching out. And so then as I was walking more, I would be, even if somebody didn't say anything, I would smile and say hello, and then pretty much everyone would respond, um, with a smile. And it just felt to me like coming out of a dark hole that I was in, just being able to bring smiles to someone, and let share. It's about sharing. Delight is about sharing. And so delight, which my dogs just naturally brought to people, which it was amazing. And then we all shared in the delight. And so I'm so that was an experience that I'm very grateful for, helping me move through this really difficult time. And knowing that right now, no, I would not swim out to the horizon from the island. I'm not ready to do that. I would wade out. Actually, I waded out and swam out a bit, but I could always see the shore, and much less immerse myself. But and the last thing I'll say is, so I'm a work in progress, but also when David talked about then, sinking into the ocean, when I was pretty young, I remember an experience of fishing with my dad, on a dock, and somehow I fell in the water. And I was really young, and I was just under the water. I wasn't afraid. I was just floating under the water. And then I saw an end of a fishing pole come down, and I just naturally grabbed it, and he pulled me out. But for the time that I was in the water, it was really peaceful. And I think back on that a lot. I'm like, whoa, what's that? What was that about? So anyway, yeah. So will there be a me anymore? And what will that me? Who is that me? And that's the question right now. And I'm not trying to figure it out because he's talking about that. Get out of your head. So I'm in CNR and moving into a space of letting, letting go. It's hard to say it, right? Just letting go and allowing emanations of love to to come through me, and that's where I'm at, as much as I can, um, and to remember to do that as much as I can. So I think that was um, pretty much so where I'm at in this process. Thank you for listening. Over and out.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. I'm
Thank you.
so surprised for you as a child were so calm in the water. That's
Well, yes, I know. I absolutely love the water. I love the feeling of the water around me, and I felt secure because my dad was there. Probably. I mean, I don't think I was consciously thinking all that, but yeah,
it was just happening, huh?
it's just right. Good point. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's wonderful how you can change your own feeling from being inside your water, what you were just talking about.
Right. I know.
Yeah, there
No
you go.
fear. No fear whatsoever. No fear, no thought, just being in the water.
Isn't that
Yeah.
wonderful?
It wasn't obviously for long, but
Uh-huh.
I can even remember that now.
There
I
you
think
go.
it was before I could swim. I was just in the water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There you go. You got it. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, Gian Dasprem.
Satnam. That was very relaxed and still and calming. It's funny because the woman today reminded me of someone, and that was cool to have pushing familiarization away, right? So it was yeah. So anyway, being there in the situation, right? For me, coming off of last week and noticing my experiences through this realm, through this body and this way of living, um, and that birthing hill, and there's sort of a calling there. There's a calling within that birth hill for a deeper breathing. Yeah, there's an enthralling in the calling, um, coming from the land and the sea and from the tree within me, as well as what's going on from within and coming from above and the returning. And I was seeing sun salutations as a way of moving with the wind, the way things move through the wind, and how seeds are planted with that, and that can be with thought and all of that. But I was just really brought into a whirlwind, I think, with the wind, and that combination of within the practice, right, of sitting in this place and seemingly still, but yet there's the spinning going on inside of me, the spinning going on around me, right, physically. So the softness of and listening to people. This is the beauty of what I've been listening to lately are mostly physicists and scientists and archaeologists, and the other one that studies the way of the evolution of man. I can't think of the name right now. Anyway, I'm just going backwards through my notes and noticing the weight, within the spinning and the holding and what we can let go of. And so through the meditations, through the movement evolving into that light, and being produced as art from the light. And when we put our hand on our heart and hold it over the echo of our heart, we can notice the breeze coming from the ocean. If we're on the land, it's blowing across the land, sort of a healing. This breeze, what is the breeze bringing us? I'm again reminded of the breeze, and now the wind moving light is a thing, and brought back into the way of the clouds, of the depth of the clouds, and that correlation of creation of planets and not being able to see in between due to density. So removing the density from the underlying ways of the earth, of the ocean, of all of that, noticing the symmetry, whether it's coming in on the wave or moving back on the wave. And I'm being shown of ways that I was at the ocean, of learning how to jump into a wave doing a flip. You want to have enough water because it'll spin you around really quickly, but it's better than trying to face it with your back or get low as a ball or find other ways. There were other ways. Most of them would hurt my skin. And I just noticed this, the way of the water, right? It can be really hard or it can be really soft, and that can come back into the ways of the birthing too. And I'm shown in the waves of the water and the way that it mixes with the wind, creates a healthy seed blowing through the wind. So for me, is the softening and listening to other people is a healing experience. And I think that sharing of our way of coming forward in this way of freedom, that we're noticing the way we're speaking, and as we're speaking, what we're mentioning, the release, the grounding, the happiness that comes with that, and then the correlation that so directly shows us with nature. And then we have the species, right? So the species are almost like in a way, they could be all of the chakras. I'm looking at a diorama and I'm just seeing the extensions of it all. It can be a tree, it can be under the water. It's all of these lives connected in sort of a tree, and then there's meaning to each one, and we can let that go too, right? We can seemingly come into a place of stillness where there's nothing there, the land of nothing. It's a place where it's multifaceted in ways of the chakras too, in ways of noticing the different levels that we're moving through that. And those of us that have, we can go through so many stories of the sharings of life in the book of life, the book of death, the study of the body, through so many studies, through the Vedics and through the Chinese studies of medicine and fitness, having just coming to that mental and physical fitness, and having sort of a finesse in that. and the twining of that finesse into the weaving of the rope that we can sort of all pull together on, or it could be a mala bead. We can have these seemingly things, right? But there is a thread, right? A common thread. And I'm being told to once again look at my DNA as a structure, as a physical structure, and look at that and find the ways of drawing the spiral. If I can go into that and just notice the ways that I'm trying to learn differently now through old teachings and through new teachings. So that would be the new science that we're learning and the delicacy that we're noticing through that. Yeah, the rising light of, coming outside of what's outside of the body, and that the rising sun, how it greets the water, and then it goes over the water and it greets the mountain, and the clouds are shrouded, and we have this lifting and the gifting. I was noticing this week of the clouds, like, geez, I saw a bunny, and like 4 hours later I looked up in the sky and I just saw this huge cloud that looked exactly like a bunny, and just noticing that the aha of the nature being that, Wahiguru, and how that closely ties into the land that I'm currently standing on now, which is Northwest Washington, Seattle area. So I'm noticing that that way, and the dancers before me, right, and sort of listening to that, and waiting for the chance to see that, to feel that vibration, coming back to that. Yeah. And Rumi is one of the people that I've been told to go back and read again, to see, the touching of the self within and the dance in there too, with the singing. And so thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. Okay. A little bit of that. Also, I was seeing that. Okay. Okay, so South City. Unmute yourself, dear. South City. Unmute yourself.
Maybe Sat City wants to go later.
Okay. Good. Okay. Harimandir.
Um, I am in the process of disentangling and letting go of all boxes I have created. Which has to do with a responsibility to others to disentangle them. So the responsibility that I feel right now is letting go of specifically what I'm looking at as in the last 10 years or so, more or less, of my life, I can't leave all the stuff I've accumulated as a burden on other people or other family members, and the same thing goes with what's happening politically in Juneau, as far as there's a responsibility to complete things so that then I can move on. And but it can't just, I have to close. There's a process of closing the boxes or making them go away that takes a lot of time and energy and focus, and it's a huge weight that I am feeling. I know how to do it. It's just the time is, each one takes time. So I'm not sure that I've been clear, but my job is, part of my job, I believe, is to lighten the load of others. And but one of the boxes I am grateful for having let go is that there is the way I wrote it, there is a certain truth. I'm not talking about the soul truth, the swimming in the ocean truth, being the ocean truth. I'm talking about all we have knowledge, we've gained knowledge, but there is no one way, there is no right way. Letting go of that, it has been very freeing and flowing. Letting go of what we or any person, because of our knowledge, because of our experience and study. So there is this right way. And that has been that's been a freeing spot of a freeing spot isn't the right word, but awareness. So I guess that's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Wow, that's great. So let me ask you something. Can you finding that what you were just talking about, letting go, and do you feel that it is, how can I say, to become growing by that just getting bigger and bigger? Are you doing that or something else?
That's a complicated question.
Is that possible to be simplicity?
Simplicity is the goal, and the complexity, I'm having to wrap up the complexities so that they don't burden other people. But each complexity has its own time frame or its own weight that uh, it's like a whole lot of completions, and I have a huge pile of them, that if I just let go, sure, you could just let go. I mean, you could die tomorrow and it would be let go. But while I'm alive, it's important to wrap them up so that they don't continue as a burden on somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, this is lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Okay. Sun City.
Putnam.
There you are.
Yeah, and I'm so appreciative for what we just heard. I'm very involved with the ecological elements of the shift, and it's weird because working in all sorts of gardens in all sorts of ways. There's and I've been experiencing that relationship, that nurturing approach to physical, ecological, the home planet that we have. It's been really intense and like a calling. And it's weird because just even being out in this park that I'm responsible for, I can't tell you how many people I've spoken to, and it's such a soulful, nature is such a powerful, soulful soul connector. So it's been interesting. I never expected to be on this path. No, I used to teach English and worry about commas and semicolons. So it's interesting how soul, what I'm really experiencing is soul's like a buddy that puts her arm around me, his and her arm around me. It's like, okay, this is kind of like I forget the word. So, sorry about the noise. A companion, a soul, an angelic companion that's like helping me to see what my job is now, to be open, relax into the flexibility and surrender that this is involving. Like what I think I should be doing and what I am doing are starting to be more integrated. I've been experiencing a lot of dislocations that have been like a training ground. Housing's really tough around here, and I've been having to bounce around, trusting. I'm going to probably end up doing a home share here, but I've got a lot more. I've got a lot. The main people in my life that are important are quite elderly. And like this morning, I was working with a senior gal on her job. She had so much wisdom to share. So right now, the soulfulness is about listening to the elders, and they're everywhere. They're kind of angelic. This gal this morning was like, I could just feel it, like very aware and had a little dog, and it's all about getting ready to go to heaven, whatever that heaven is. And I think that heaven's probably different for every soul. So I hope I'm making sense. It's been a kind of challenging time. Thank God for this group. And you can hear the trucks rumbling by, and this has been a really anchoring group, and I feel like it's a huge gift that has been bestowed upon me, but also each of us. It's a soul group, like we're in a soul platoon in the peaceful army of awakening, and probably moving to this town and already things are falling into place about teaching Kundalini and how to teach it and where to teach it. And that's been a big new reconnection for me. And usually I would be at solstice this time of year, but just did not work out. It was not everything, every block that could possibly come up did come up. And I had a really cool job that I always enjoyed doing there, but that's not happening. And I'm trying to be okay with this kind of very transitional. I guess I'm trying to say I'm learning from Soul how to be in a very transitional setting. And I'm going to repeat again, Siri Gian, how you described way back, like 20 years ago, that being open and unstructured and accepting when the food truck drives by and there's nothing in the grocery, but I pick up the box that fell off the truck of food. So I hope I'm making sense, and please keep me in your prayers as I go through this transition. It's been very interesting for me to see poor Father George go through really extreme Alzheimer's and all the things that come with that. That's been really hard. Learning to stay neutral. He's been a brilliant teacher for me in learning to inhabit and share the space of neutrality, even though he's like raging. So that's been really good. And I guess I'm very grateful to each of you, and thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. John. You've made my life it's just such a way of life that's just getting it grows and grows. Relationship with soul, from my experience, especially now as I've been aging, is it's always growing. It's an adventure. It is a soul adventure. That's the right word. You knew the right name. And thank you, fellow adventurers, because you're very courageous. And I've learned so much, and I'm inspired. And everybody's path is different, but the courage to travel it. I watch it grow in our group. I watch it grow in each one of us in this group.
That's right.
Yeah. So, speaking with that song that we sang, many speak of courage. Speaking does not give it. It's in the way of life that we must live it. It's in the. Does anybody know the correct words for it? It's in the way of life that we must live it. It's in our daily life, or I'm not remembering that part of it.
Not me.
Yeah, me neither. But it's close enough.
Yeah, we got it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, we used to have a course that called Soul Adventure.
Soul Adventure. Woo!
Yeah, that's right. And that's what we're doing.
It's the perfect word. And it makes it what I love about the name is it's so much fun.
That's
very little to no melodrama that I have ever observed.
Isn't it better that it just lets go?
Yeah.
It flows and the wind goes with the breeze inside the water.
Inside.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Japa Saraswati.
Satnam.
Satnam.
So for the diamond meditation, what was it? The diamond dynamite meditation? I chose to focus my beam of light on myself, like around 6th grade. was when I did that, and I chose that time because I had a session with Satya this morning, and I've been feeling really alienated lately from I find that in myself it's really easy for me to become a black sheep, and that it's really easy for me to become other in a group of people. And I feel that at least um it started happening uh in the outside world around, for me, maybe the sixth grade. So I felt it with sending that light, like bathing that younger self in light, bathing it in light, bathing her in light to show. I feel like little dark corners showed little dark corners the light, and it felt like deep self-knowledge. And oh, and so what I saw in that exploration was that I needed to be treated fairly at that age, and that instilled for me a love of justice in my life. And also at that age, I had a longing to belong. So the gift for that was very strong protective mind. And then where my meditation brought me was about original sin, and original sin being like the sin of the mother, and that's very patriarchal and authoritarian and not really fifth dimension. But I recognized some of this um, sort of guilt and not connection during that phase in my life was about feeling some of that anxiety about original sin, that I came into this situation um somehow impure, somehow with a somehow not quite right. And that's not progressive, not fifth dimension. And that it caused me to be oh, and that it's like picking at the self for self-knowledge. So like original sin was all about Eve and Adam having the apple, eating the apple from the tree of knowledge, and that it was also about sexuality and adult use of free will. That they were like, yes, I will try that apple, um, and what I found was about loving the self for finding out, like that they went into that place of wanting to know, even though they were kind of told not to know, to remain ignorant. And that I found that with myself too. Like my mother used to say to me when I was growing up that I needed to learn things the hard way, or that I liked to learn things the hard way, and that she would tell me how to do it properly the first time, and that I needed to get the repercussions in order to really find out. And for me, that Diamond Dynamite meditation was about loving the self for finding out even the hard way, finding out the hard way. And oh, and how do I recreating or rewriting my understanding of this very patriarchal process that bred and inculcated so much fear and shame and separation from self. So with that light, recreating and rewriting and reimagining, um, like I don't want to say that there's any part of tearing down the patriarchy or tearing down the authority, tearing down these authoritarian ways, because it's not about tearing them down, but it's about using like the maginal cells from the butterfly as the butterfly is doing metamorphosis to recreate or rewrite or reimagine that patriarchal, that authoritarian, that punishing, and that for me, it was like I could see it very clearly for my sixth grade self, that separation from the self, that separation from love of the self, and that separation from the love of the divine. And and recreating, turning that patriarchal energy and that authoritarian energy into a deep self-knowledge and a deep self-love, and to celebrate. Oh, and so then I sent to our text messages the mother and child reunion, the Paul Simon song, because what I felt was to celebrate the reunion of self, but I felt the self, like the self with both that maternal energy, that mother energy, and yeah, and just celebrate that reunion, the mother and child and so that was, I guess that was my message.
Wow, that's biggie.
Yeah, lovely. It was lovely. It was lovely.
Yes. And are you finding that what you're talking about, birth, and you are finding more and more from your mother female aspect? Are you coming through that for your own, how can I say, with your spirit, to finding that truth coming through you?
Yeah, like I really recognize the way that my mother has always been really much harder on me than my brother. And I realize that it was her actually being hard on herself, that because I was a girl, and that it reminded her too much of herself, that was parts of her not accepting herself, and that it's part of why I don't have children. And so now, instead of doing acceptance and love to the child that I would have had, it's about the inner child and doing acceptance and love to myself.
Mm, okay.
Yeah. And in that way, it's also acceptance and love to my mother, for my mother. Like my mother wasn't able to do it in her lifetime, and in so many ways, I do think it's a bit of a cop out. Like, I just had this house guest, who's wonderful, and she's an artist. I wish Harimandir was still here because her mother was a weaver, and so she's selling her mother's weaving looms, and we went yesterday to a brunch, and there were all of these other ladies who were weavers in my town, and it was really cool. I really thought of Harimandir. I wished she was around for it, but what was I saying? Oh, about having children or not having children. My house guest said, or we were saying that, like, that some people, it's a part of staying busy, like that part of them not doing their self-acceptance is like part of that generative energy. So maybe like some people have a lot of children to avoid them having to do the self-work, the self-growth, that they put it onto the next generation, or they put it onto somebody else, and they create so much busyness for themselves that they can't do it on their own. And for my mother, that's definitely part of it. And now, this is my time to shine in that way, that it's my time to do that soul work and not pass it on. Not that there's another generation to pass it on to, but that is how I do that work, is by doing that self-love.
Mhm. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Isn't that wonderful? Because also, before you were feeling that your mother was kind of terrible, but
I still feel she's terrible sometimes, but I think she can't help it.
there you go. And there you go. Here is her own mother within your own self.
Hmm.
You are finding your wonderful love. from within you. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's entirely an inside job, you know?
Yes, that's right. That's great. You guys are doing so well. So beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Okay. So now, let's see, for Salt City. Salt City? No, she's muting. Okay. So maybe Gian Dasprem. Oh, can you lead our song?
Certainly.
Okay.
Get a little bit of heat in the hands. And let's inhale together. We'll just do an inhale and exhale. And then on the next inhale, we'll do one time through with the long, short nam at the end. Okay? So let's inhale together. Exhale. Inhale to begin. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on.
Inhale. God. Bless you all. And please continue. We all have this, how can I say, that story or that opening or birthing. Here we are. We're going together. Thank you so much. So keep up.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Love you all. Have a great week.
Night.
Mom.
Thanks, Edna.
Japa Saraswati.